very, very public. They seem
Yeah.
to go out every single day with a new update from one member of their hierarchy. Been having talks with Spurs. There's still a kind of a big gap in valuation where Spurs would maybe want to do a deal. They don't really want to, but if they have to, their price is a lot higher than what Bayern are getting to at the moment. How do you see this playing out? Because for our partners in the UK at Sky Sports are saying Harry Kane believes if he isn't sold before the start of the Premier League season, he's going to stay at Spurs for the rest of the season. And kind of, I've been on this theory the entire time. I just think he doesn't want to leave at all, and is going to just go on as a free agent next summer and just stick around. And maybe he signs a new contract if Spurs have a great start to the season, but I think he just wants to be a free agent and choose where he goes next summer. So what do you think of this Bayern? I wouldn't say fast, but it's almost getting to that stage right now where everybody just wants some kind of conclusion one way or the other.
Yeah, including me. I'd like a conclusion to that as well for the, fourth summer running now at this point.
Yeah.
I think at this point it just needs to happen. And I have, up until about the last week or so, I have been of the mind he'll probably play his contract out and leave on a free, like you say, Joe. But at this point, with a new manager in and a very new style that he wants to implement, all keeping Kane does is kind of delay the actual rebuild for another year. And then you've got a coach who's already used a year of his tenure and might not be in the most comfortable position, who's then starting next preseason without Harry Kane. And of course, they're going to start next season a little poorly. And so then you might just fire Ange Postecoglou 8 games into next season. And what was the point? What was the point of keeping him? What was the point of hiring? And so it just, I think there are very different places in Harry Kane's career and where Spurs are right now. There's no way to argue against that. Harry Kane needs to go somewhere he can win now. That's not Spurs. And Spurs need some younger players that they can develop into the next team. Not just great individuals, but the next team that Ange wants to build. And if you're going to back Ange to build a team, this just needs to happen now. And also, Harry Kane is brilliant, and he'll score goals in any system. He also doesn't fit the way that Ange wants to play. And so there's going to be frustrations on Kane's part. There's going to be frustrations on Ange's part, the fans' part. It's going to be a terrible last year together for Spurs fans and Harry Kane, I think, if he stays. And the possibility of getting this kind of money for him versus getting nothing, it's just, I'm to the point now, I just want it done. I think at this point, and obviously Harry Kane has been brilliant for Spurs for the entirety of his career, but I think the best thing that Spurs can do now for Harry Kane and for themselves would be to let him go to Bayern Munich and take the money.
Yeah, it's kind of getting to that stage, right, Nick? And I mean, it's when we look around Europe, there's obviously some huge names and strikers at massive teams that I guess Mbappe's in a very similar situation to Harry Kane. He's got 1 year left on his contract and he wants to leave. It looks PSG think he wants to go to Real Madrid. They had the huge world record bid come in from Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia that Mbappe was like, no, thank you. I don't want talks. I don't want anything to do with that. I mean, what do you make of his situation? Because there's been talk about, is he coming on loan to the Premier League for a season before his contract runs out and PSG makes some money back that way from a loan sort of move? Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp's already said, we'd love to, but we just can't do it. This is not going to happen. So I think with Mbappe, it's tougher for him to go elsewhere because of financial fair play and all those situations, right? So the fact he isn't with PSG on their preseason tour is just a mess right now. And maybe we'll see Kane and Mbappe both become free agents and then go on their merry way to wherever they want to go to next. It seems like that's how it's going to play out. But I know you have some interesting thoughts on the Mbappe situation. We love to see him in the Premier League, but it feels like Real Madrid is the place where he really wants to go. And I don't know how PSG can stop him doing that right now.
Yeah, I hate doing this because I'm not a Real Madrid fan, but Real Madrid is Batman in this situation. And if you can follow me here, I think the reports about Chelsea being willing to take him for a year and let him figure out his own future, make them the Joker, the Heath Ledger Joker. When he lights, we'll find out which team is willing to light a pile of money on fire and just watch it burn. And the reason is because in this crazy sports world we're living in, where we talked about Saudi money and what Lionel Messi received from MLS, wouldn't you, if you're incredibly rich and you want your project to matter, wouldn't you give one of the best players in the world a year in your land and try to convince him to stay, but just take that year? I think Chelsea has the guts and to do that. And I just wouldn't be surprised whether it's a loan or it's a buy in a crazy 1-year contract and try to convince this guy to stick around. How fantastic would it be to see this guy in the Premier League? Tell me you can't see Todd Bowley buying or finding a way to put Mbappe on the team for a year and see what happens next.
Andy, what do you think?
Yeah, the team that would really be lighting the money on fire, to continue your metaphor there, Nick, I think could actually be PSG. I think PSG could look at it and say, okay, we don't care about the money that we're paying you because it's infinite money. What if he just doesn't play this year? What if that becomes the resolution? Because we're talking about where he could go, but what if PSG are just like, okay, well, we know you're going to leave, and out of spite, we're going to let your career stall and stagnate for a year. Like, I could see them doing that, because when he went there, we all knew what it was. He went from Monaco to PSG. We knew he went there because the money was big and it was going to be a stopover point in his career, and he would eventually get to one of the giants. And so I don't have a ton of sympathy for him in this situation, because he made the choice to go there. And at least that was the opinion that I always held of the PSG project. And I will always refer to it as a project much more than a club because of the way that it's been operated. So yeah, it's an interesting situation, but I could see that playing out. And nobody wins then. Nobody wants to see that.
No, nobody does. But right now, I mean, both Harry Kane and Kylian Mbappe, they hold the power in these situations because they're only 1 year out from being free agents, and both of them from January 2024, a few months from now, can negotiate with teams from outside their country on a free transfer. So they hold the power right now, and I think PSG and Tottenham are just trying to scramble to get whatever they can, and they shouldn't really be in this situation, but they are. And we'll keep you updated on all the latest news from Harry Kane and Kylian Mbappe as giants across Europe try and scramble to sign them. But as we said, those two really hold the key to their futures. And maybe we're going to see a lot of big players in the future follow their lead and kind of saying, you know what, I'm going to let my contract run down. And I know I'm going to make that money back. I know I'm just going to get a bigger sign-on on fee if clubs don't have to pay huge transfer fees for me. So maybe this is the future, guys, but it's going to be fun to see how it unfolds. Maybe not for you, Andy, in the Harry Kane situation, but let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what happens. I think we have a few more twists and turns yet in these two transfer sagas.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. For even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you over there.